Here we are. Welcome, everybody, to the Sunday Night Ragchew. We have a plethora of visitors today as we discuss our topic tonight, LoRa and MESHTASTIC. So let's start around. I'm going to go in the order I see it. I'm assuming we'll all see the same order, but let's start with Michael. Just introduce yourselves. What you do,
Michael,
if you have a channel.
Getting Out Life, youtube.com at Getting Out Life. And I do just normal everyday life type things. And a big part of my life is ham radio. So you'll see a lot of ham radio content as well as others.
Very cool. Welcome. Next, Chris, W9TEK.
Good evening, everybody. So I'm just kind of beginning here and been a ham for probably 2.5 years now. And I'm into technology and all things tech. So
Thus the name. All right. Let's go. Andrew, the Broke Ham. He's got the Broke Ham channel on YouTube.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yeah, I've been, this was my COVID hobby that's kind of spun out of control. So I just made extra. I think my channel is all about not necessarily not spending money, just where to spend your money correctly and smartly. So.
Yeah, I noticed you give some good suggestions on budget stuff. So
I appreciate it. Yeah, I really try to be budget oriented.
And your channel has grown since the last time you were on.
Yeah.
So, all right. That's awesome. Hey. And finally, we've got Jordan. Welcome.
Hey, thanks, Paul. Yeah, I'm Jordan. I don't have a YouTube channel yet. I'm a dad and full-time job and ham all over the place. But I did get my extra this year as well. And I've been doing MESHTASTIC probably for about a year now. And have some ups and downs with it. But it's pretty fun for sure.
Very cool. Congrats to both of you on extra. The best part about getting extras, now you can just have fun without the worry of that little sliver of frequency that you can't use. So want to welcome everyone. And we got a couple guys logging in here. Scott, the Ham Stop, welcome. He's also given my channel a discount code if you want to check out his shop on Etsy, the Ham Stop, with those sweet sky hooks. And welcome, Don. Thanks again for joining us this week on the Sunday Night Ragchew. So tonight is MESHTASTIC and LoRa. We're going to kind of just go around, and each of us are going to give us our experience and what we do or don't know about it. And yeah. And we're just going to discuss LoRa and MESHTASTIC, how we can use it, what we've done with it, what we're doing with it, what we want to do with it. And that's about it for tonight. So we'll go ahead and start with I know Michael. So I have very little. I just started in it. I know Michael, before we started the live stream, says he has no knowledge of it. So zero.
Other than I've heard of it, I've seen a presentation on LoRa, and I've heard a lot of chatter about MESHTASTIC.
So let me ask if you can sum it up. MESHTASTIC, that is, not LoRa. Sum it up in one sentence, Chris. What would you say?
Just a protocol that allows you to not only be able to communicate, but take a series of sensors and transmit that to a mesh.
Okay. How about you, Jordan?
I would say that it's an inexpensive off-grid communication system accessible by anyone, even outside the ham community.
Nice. Anytime I hear off-grid, I think EMCOMMs, emergency communications. Andrew, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's text walkie-talkie. It's the simplest way you can put it, and it's cool. You can put other sensors and stuff on there and have it report different metrics to you.
All right. So I do have a box. I had one already, and then I got my second one today, and then I've ordered 2 more, and I got some extra batteries. But I do have one question I'm going to ask you guys when we get to the box opening, because I have no idea what it is. It's part of the box. Maybe you guys already know what I'm talking about, but I don't see the use for it yet. But I know that there's a great video. There's a few videos out there. Josh on Ham Radio Crash Course has a great couple of videos on it, how to get started and stuff like that. There's a couple other videos out there that talk about setting up repeaters. So that's something our club here locally we started a new Signal chat group. We may look into is setting up some kind of a MESHTASTIC repeater so that, you know, off-grid times we can still communicate with text at least. And that's all I know, is that it texts, and it can be off-grid, and it uses the 915 megahertz spectrum or frequency or whatever you want to call that. So, anything you guys want to discuss about it before I start it? I mean, on the webpage, kind of how to get started. Feel free to talk whatever you want.
How to get started, I would say, is meshtastic.org. And that's the website to go to. It's going to have all the information you need and a lot of rabbit holes that aren't there, actually. So it's a good starting point. Like you mentioned, there's a few YouTube videos and channels out there. Josh does a great job. Disaster communications is what got me started in that YouTube channel, is where I got my start in MESHTASTIC.
Mm-hmm.
And realistically, get an understanding of what it is and how it works before, because you're going to go down a rabbit hole that's deeper than Raspberry Pi when you start getting into the devices. It's a bit tricky there. But the MESHTASTIC site does have some guidance on what you should do and shouldn't do with said devices, and some that do have, you know, compatibility with their service and whatnot. But that right there is a huge pile of information to go through, both on a entry level, and then as you dive deeper into it as well, understanding the protocol and how it works. They have all the documentation there.
So Scott is saying you're going to be giving presentations on it since you've been on this video, because apparently you know it pretty well. So Donna said you can't do video and you can't do voice. So what can you do with MESHTASTIC?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because I just watched this really cool channel probably last week and the week before. It's called the Comms channel. He's about 34,000 subs. He's got some really cool thing. I'm trying to find the video on it. Yeah, he's got a thing set up for his MESHTASTIC where he does old style like BBSs and like mail drops. Maybe I can link to that. You guys can go check that out for yourself. But that's really cool, just to be able to pass information around that way. I can put that in the private chat here.
Let me drop it. I got it.
All right.
Yeah, just looking at it, his top 4 videos, it's MESHTASTIC, so that looks like a great resource. Anybody else have some good resource that they rely on or have relied on in the past?
Other than all the YouTube channels out there that have built it. It's like,
I mean, yeah, Ham Radio Crash Course is kind of, you know, he or, you know, Ham Radio 2.0 are kind of two of the bigger
Jason
ones that usually do things, but Jason does a lot of that stuff, I think, as well. So there's the comms channel. I don't know who that is, but I just checked it out, and that's it looks like a good resource. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
So here's the website, and as Jordan, I think, stated, it's just meshtastic.org. And to get started, it's very simple. You don't have to solder anything. It's basically, once you flash it with MESHTASTIC, the device I got, I had to flash it, of course, with MESHTASTIC. Is that something you got to do with every device, or do some devices come with it?
So like I got this T keyboard, which my green screen's really making a mess of that. But this T keyboard here, this actually came with MESHTASTIC on it. I don't remember exactly what version, but it might not be the most up-to-date version.
Okay. Jordan, you have something there?
Yeah, there are a few devices that are pre-configured with MESHTASTIC. You can buy them pre-configured that way. I have a T-Deck as well.
Okay.
But again, it may not be the most current up-to-date. So you want to make sure that that's the case. But updating the firmware is going to be something it's all in beta right now. It's something you want to get really, really comfortable doing for sure.
And is that T-Deck, is that the one I've seen? I think I've got it saved in my Amazon. It's like $73 or something. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
About that? Okay.
And sometimes you can catch it where it'll say like $50, but usually that's with like a $12 shipping. So
okay, yeah.
Just before you click buy it now, just make sure you check the shipping price.
Yeah, I usually just go to Amazon and search for items, and then I search for prices and other websites. Amazon tends to have all the items I want to look for, so.
Don't they all?
So I do have that T-Deck saved. I like it because it has the keyboard.
Yeah, I like this is a standalone. So like I'm trying to focus on this for as part of our pace plan. I'm trying to focus on these for like my wife, because she's not a ham yet.
Yeah.
I'm working on that. But you know, these are nice because they're license free.
Yep. Very cool.
So I got one of those on the way for my wife, actually. So my wife is actually deaf, so she can't use radio at all. And
Oh,
so, so having emergency communications that she can use is fantastic.
That's cool. Yeah, and Don's comment there, and I think a couple of you guys said you can, there's add-ons to it. This is probably the one thing I will add on to for sure, is the little GPS unit. And I've actually got those. I haven't looked into it too deeply, but do you guys know if the unit I have, it's like a little, I think
Yeah,
it has a battery on it, and it works
you've
on the
got
Raspberry
Heltec
Pi.
V3, right?
Huh?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
What?
the-
Wait, you have the Heltec V3?
Yeah, it's the V3, but is it the same one that I would use on a Raspberry Pi, or is it a different GPS unit? Do you know if that's the same type of a thing? And
So
if I had,
there's another GPS unit that you have to buy for the Heltec V3.
Yeah.
okay, so it's on its own.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think
most
mine's
of these
the-
have their
the
own
Glowtech.
independent GPS units you have to get.
Okay, so something like these right here.
That's the
Yeah.
exact one I got.
Yep.
Okay, all right.
When you get that, you can turn it off and on through the application and
Okay.
on your phone. But there's also Josh shows it how you can install a switch into it to actually turn off
Oh, that's right. Yep.
the GPS. So I did that route, and now I have a whole stack of little switches.
Yeah, and if you go to Josh's HRCC Ham Radio Crash Course, go to his videos. I think it's videos, not live. I can't remember. And then just search for MESHTASTIC. You'll find the video that he talks about that. And I think he's the one that has the link to that 3D printable file, right? You can download if you got a 3D printer. It looks really
Yeah.
cool. And
The T deck. I'm sorry, I didn't
Go
mean to
ahead.
interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I was talking about for the T deck. Do you guys know of any other ones? Because I found this one that I like, but I didn't see one that he had talked about.
I haven't.
I haven't seen it. I was probably going to take that one and probably respin it and redo it because I want to add some stuff to it. I think bigger battery and whatnot.
Well, I'll drop this link then just to get it out there.
Okay. Is that the one now, or is that earlier?
Here,
Oh,
it's
that's
the here, I
that's the
just sent it's
YouTube.
the
Okay.
printables link.
What's the M100? What is that, Don? I missed something, I think. For the T deck. Okay. All right. And that's the case that you purchase, or do you print that case?
This case I printed, but I think you can
Okay.
buy it on their Etsy shop.
All right.
So they got a bunch of different configurations with it, like thicker, thinner, different
Yeah.
antenna holes.
Okay, thanks, Don. Yeah, and also I remember on Josh's link, I can't remember the company, but it's on his video link. You can he had a ton of options to download, so you could download the file to print the unit, the case without buttons, with buttons.
Mm-hmm.
He had a lot of options. I did notice that when I looked through it earlier today. So if you got a 3D printer or know someone in your club or someone, that would be an awesome way to go. And it does turn out pretty cool. Just looking at yours there, and also Josh's on his channel. All right. So anything else that we can talk about? We got add-ons, texting. It's a good idea to, just like Raspberry Pis and other things, keep it updated. Let me go back to the beginning here.
Oh yeah, really, my adventure started out by wanting to equip my kids with something that the school district couldn't take away because it's not a phone. So
Interesting.
these T decks are what I settled on, and what you can do with these, again, they look like a BlackBerry. So I don't have a case for mine because I've been too lazy to figure out one, and I don't know what battery I want, and do I want to put GPS in it, and does the SD card work, and all that stuff. So it just sits like this right now with no case on it. But what the concept was hand them one of these, and then I use these rack wireless, these 4630s. You can't really see it on the computer, but on the screen here, but this 4630
There you
goes
go.
into a box that's waterproof, and I have a solar connector attached to it. So I've got 4 18650 batteries in there. It'll stay powered forever. I don't have to worry about it. And so this is kind of the router, if you will. And then these are the devices that are connecting to that. And so that's essentially what my mesh was going to be, is that, have my kids be able to contact me if there's some emergency, if cell phones are down, if there's a fiber cut, if it's Snowmageddon or whatever that might be, then they have a backup way to get a hold of me that's not cellular phone, essentially.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, and then just the same kind of point. This is what I was getting for my my home unit, my base router. It's the T-Beam Supreme, and this one's nice because this actually it has the GPS unit already in.
Okay,
that's not something else you have to add.
I know Don. Don's in here, and I know he obviously knows what he's talking about. But I'm going to show this logo really quick on top of all of us here. And just for those who, this is an image off of the MESHTASTIC website, and you can kind of see what it does. You connect your cell phones over here, Bluetooth to your thing. It can connect to kind of a router type, repeater type of a MESHTASTIC device, and that can connect to others. So you can connect all sorts of devices and be able to communicate with text, which is kind of the mindset here. Just thought I'd show that real quick. Let's see if this will move over to this. So let me go to that. So here is one thing. I ordered one of them, and get the microphone over here. I also ordered an extra pack of like these 3,000 milliamp hour batteries. But the one I ordered came with one, which is really weird because it doesn't fit in the case.
Yeah.
It's hilarious that it comes with one. So I do have affiliate links in my stuff, but there's always other, you can always find other links that perhaps don't have the battery or come with some other case either. So definitely do your research and figure it out. But it does come with this case, which I'm probably not even going to use, the battery. And then it comes with the device itself, which is this here. So you can see it's pretty small, and it has a USB-C connector, which is nice. It's got the antenna, which just snaps on the end here. This is a cable if you want to attach solder a different type of battery on it. If you didn't want this and it didn't have the correct connector. And this is what I want to ask you guys. Why do these come with these? What are they?
They're just headers, so that if you wanted to like put it onto a breadboard or something, then you can do that. I didn't use it in mine, so just kind of put them in your spares. For like if you need a header or something, you can kind of clip them apart and put them in something.
Okay. All right, easy enough. But that's it, guys. It comes like that, and I want to say, I don't know, 25 to. Depends on how you buy it. If you buy it with batteries and cases, it's probably much higher. I think this was a $30 or $35 kit. I've got this one already installed.
Hey, Paul, Don had a quick comment.
Go ahead.
Replace that antenna.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing.
So apparently it's not a very good antenna. And W6IWN, welcome. Welcome aboard.
Maybe replace the antenna.
Yeah.
Maybe. For you, Paul, yes, we replace the antenna.
Yeah,
but
this is
in a very heavy mesh environment. That one may do, actually. So
true.
So here's let me go back to I removed the window. That's not what I meant to do. Here's the antenna kit. Where did it go? 2 pieces. There's that. Okay, so I bought this kit to go hopefully with the case that I end up getting. I'll probably download that one case that Josh has a link to. And I think these are 2 dB. Let's see. Yeah, 2 dBi, but they'll go on the outside, and you'll wire this SMA connector through the case, and then you have this external antenna. But the one that I'm connected to right now is, like I said, this is for the Helium crypto miner, and this is up on my roof. I made a fake vent with some PVC pipe, and I've got my weather cameras there. I used to have my in-fed antenna up there, an EMCOM 3 portable that sloped down to my fence. And I used to put a J-pole inside of it so that the HOA couldn't see it. But I think it was too much there and it was not working well. So anyway, you can get these. I think there's smaller ones, bigger ones, but you want to get the 915 megahertz antenna. And this is up on my roof. So this works for the LoRa, which is long-range devices like this MESHTASTIC system that we're working on. If you look at that picture, the bottom right and the top left, those are both the crypto miners I have. They're two different brands, but anyway, let's go back to this. And let's remove that. So what I wanted to show, and I just don't want to take, I don't want to take the time doing it because there's other, like Josh's channel and other channels show how to do it. But basically what you're going to do is you're going to attach a data USB cable here to this. And, oh, did you hear that? And you can, you're going to update this. So on mine, I had to put the MESHTASTIC software on here. So once you have that plugged in, you're going to go to the downloads, and it has everything you need here to get started. And so the first thing you do is you go to, and you guys, you jump in anytime you know something that needs to be said or something I'm doing wrong. This is just what I did on the first unit.
I got one thing to say is that
yeah, go ahead.
It's got to be a Chromium based browser, so either Edge or Chrome.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. Good.
I'm a Firefox user, so
Yeah, I use Chrome and Firefox.
Before I realized.
Say that again, Chris. It's got to be a what type browser? And what are
Chromium.
So
Chrome or Edge.
Chrome or
Flash
Edge.
to work.
Okay.
And also
Chrome,
the CLI. There's a CLI you can get into.
Right here it says right here.
Yeah,
Or if
that's
you're on
what
Linux,
my engineers
Chromium
need to
browser.
hear which exact browsers we can use.
If you're on Linux, then it's Chromium.
Yeah.
So it's all Chromium based.
So I got this one, and I don't know what this one is. I don't know if you guys feel it's something to explain or if we don't need to discuss the difference here. This RF52 2040 drag and drop. that something
So those are different boards.
Okay.
One, I think Rack uses one of the NRF52. That there's a couple of other RP2040 boards that I was looking at earlier.
It's basically based on the chipset. The chipset kind of determines what happens. So
Got
on
it.
my TDEC, I can go to the flasher, and there's an option there, drop down that says TDEC, and I go on my way through the web browser. With
Okay.
my rack device, I go in and I have to put this device in. It's called DFU mode, which is basically like a firmware boot.
Uh-huh.
And you can do it by, there's a few ways to do it. You can double tap the reset button, which is on the top here. It's pretty easy to do. But what you do is this device then shows up as a USB device on your operating system. Happens on Mac, happens on Windows. And you drag and drop a file over, and then this reboots, and that's the firmware essentially. But it's all
You just
based on
drop
the
it into
chipset,
it? You just
of
drop
the,
it
of
into
the
it
board
and it does
itself.
it?
It's just like a USB or an SD card or something. So just
Yeah, it'll show up as a drive, a mapped drive in your
Yeah.
operating system. And
Okay.
again, you'll get a file that you just drag and drop over. It's a zip file or it's a DFU file. It's like a zip file. You copy it over, and that's what upgrades the firmware on the other chipset essentially.
Okay. So this is probably, I don't think this is an autofocus camera, but we'll see. So that antenna just snaps onto that little connector there. And then the buttons he was talking about are above here. They're on either side of the USB-C port. And I'm on the wrong screen. Let me get my screen back up.
you shouldn't have to press any of those buttons. It should just plug in and well, away you go.
Yeah, I haven't, I might have hit the reset button when I was working on something, but I really haven't messed with the buttons. So there's the two buttons, and the antenna snaps in on that other side right there.
So I would
So-
recommend if you do the case, there's different size buttons. I would recommend printing one of the thinner buttons for the reset button.
Okay.
So that you don't accidentally hit it, because I hit that thing all the time. It drives me crazy.
Okay. So we're gonna go here, and it's gonna take you to the flasher page. You're gonna select your target device. This thank goodness I knew that I have the Heltec V3, but I was just like, good grief, I didn't even realize there were so many of these boards. So the T-beam that you were talking about, would it be this one or T-Deck? I mean, was it T-Deck?
Yeah, the T-Deck right there.
Yeah.
Okay,
You
so
just select it. It's in the same realm as your
Okay.
Heltec V3, where you just
Okay.
select it and next finish, and
Mhm.
it's off to the races essentially. On the T-Deck though, on the devices, there's generally some way you have to get them into firmware boot mode. On my
Okay.
T-Deck, I would hold down the middle button, which is the trackball,
yeah,
and turn it on, then plug it in. There's a
Okay.
method to do that. And yeah, to Don's point on the chipset, some chipsets are more power efficient than others. The reason I went with the rack devices is because I wanted to put them in a case with battery, and this will sip battery, as other devices may go through a whole 18650 in a day. And so the devices, what you want to do with the device really depends on which device you want to get. So again, that meshtactics.org site has a lot of that information there, and the devices, they're not specifically made for certain things, but some are better than others at certain things. So this device, this rack device, is just sips power, and it works better if you're solar powering it and it's going to be outside and austere environments and things like that. Whereas these T-Decks, they suck battery, so they have a USB-C port on the bottom that gets used a lot because they're very power hungry with that screen on them.
Yeah, the screen, right? Okay, and then what's the T-beam? Is that just another device, or is that some kind of an antenna or something?
Yeah,
it's another device. It's just another form factor for. It's more of an elongated beam than it is anything else.
Okay. All right. So then you're going to select your firmware version, and I remember reading somewhere that said, or it might have been Josh's video, if you don't know which one, just choose the most recent stable version. So I went ahead and did that one. And then when you click the flash, it's going to pop this up. I'm not reading it. And then maybe you guys can explain what this was talking about here. Now mine does show, it's going to show the COM port and all that. What does it mean by alternatively, you can try the 1200 BPS reset method to place the device in the correct mode? I didn't know what that meant. You guys know what that means? Because all I did was I just clicked this, hit this and choose the COM port, but I have no idea what this meant up here.
I can only speculate, but I would guess that means that like if your device is just having trouble connecting, you can use that to
like if I do this way and the COM port doesn't connect.
Yeah, if it doesn't, yeah.
Got it. All right.
There, Don's got the answer. Updating via serial port.
Okay, thanks, Don. Don, I needed to get you on here.
Yeah, Don.
So I didn't touch anything else. I just clicked this to fully erase and install. Now this is the new unit that I just got. I did play around with it earlier. That's why you see it showing GPS, because I think it's connected to my phone right now. And then you just do erase and flash. And then over here, it's this CP2102 USB to UART bridge controller.
And Paul, look, if you look at the top there, it says flasher.meshtastic wants to connect serial port. That's what Don's mentioning there. The USB-C connection it's all new and fancy today, but it's actually using that old serial port technology. And that's essentially changing the 1200 BPS. It's basically matching the hardware up to that serial port speed so they can communicate.
Which is what this driver does with this? Is that what that's all about?
Yeah.
Okay, the bridge controller. Okay. And then we connect it, and as you can see, it just starts erasing flash. So it's erasing what's on it, what came with it or whatever, and it takes a little time, but you can see here on the screen that it's it's pretty slow. So we'll move on while it does that. And let me get rid of that. Whoop, that's not what I wanted. Let me remove that for now. It's just going to go through a series of installs and windows and popping up. So let's go on to the next. Let's see. MESHTASTIC. So can you guys explain the difference? Because I was trying to understand the difference between, there's some settings you can make it. You can make it a client. You can make it a repeater. You can make it what was the other thing? A router. Can someone explain the differences there between those three settings and why you would want one over the other, or how would you use them? If someone feels comfortable explaining those.
Personally, I've only ever used client.
Okay.
Well, I did use router, but I was reading that router is really just supposed to be for strategically placed nodes.
Okay.
So yeah, I've just been using client, and there is a page that explains them on the MESHTASTIC site, but I'm not sure that.
I think Jordan gave me that link earlier.
Yeah, I mean, there's a role comparison table here that actually kind of tells you, like power consumption, retransmit, a bunch of good information. But I haven't noticed any differences with my settings.
Okay, so Don, as far as it's not really a setting, does that mean it doesn't really change anything as far as usage? So keeping it
really
at client
as far as the usage goes
necessarily.
Yeah. It changes the action of the device. So if you set it up as a client assumes that you're going to connect through you're going to connect with a phone to it, whether through Wi-Fi or Bluetooth.
Okay.
And then it's going to basically get messages to the phone via that protocol while it's transmitting the messages over the LoRa protocol, essentially.
Okay.
So that's what a client is. And then, if you want it to be, there's various integration points as well that you can do. Like there's an ATAC setting you can have where it automatically sends data to the ATAC network. You can have it participate and not help reduce the network load where it only listens for certain traffic and certain configurations. Mm-hmm. There's a number of roles you can set. Just think about that as it's like a wireless router. You can set it to a router or you can set it to a hotspot. That's kind of the same idea of what this role does, but the roles themselves have different functions within the network, within the LoRa network and the MESHTASTIC infrastructure.
So what Don is saying here is the repeater is just a location type moniker. A mesh network has no difference between nodes. So y'all correct me if I'm understanding this correctly. Whether it's a device that you're using or a device somebody else is using or the devices in between that are creating the mesh network, it doesn't matter. Your device is part of the mesh. The devices in between are part of the mesh, and the other end user is a part of that. Is that my understanding?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, everything's just a point. Everything talks to each other.
And it doesn't matter if you're talking through the router itself, but your device can be part of the router and part of the mesh that helps pass traffic as well.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, that was my understanding. So thank you, Don.
So if I wanted, so let's say, I'm going to have 5 devices, I guess. And let's say I have this antenna up on the roof, the rack antenna. Is that something on that device? Would I want to set that one as a router, or does it matter?
I think it would depend on what services you're running. So there's this MQTT that you can do a lot of things like sending sensor information, sending IoT-based information through the network. You'll need to have some sort of like a server. So you'd probably want to have a router mode for that.
So I would choose router mode if I was connected to the internet or something like that.
Probably.
Otherwise, just setting all my devices to client, I would be able to text between all those clients. Okay. Yeah. So client is probably the mode I'll just stick with. Okay, so you probably can't see the lettering. It's so small. Can you flip me to the full screen there, Michael?
I can sure try.
Just click the little box in my window. Or I guess I could do the add to stage. There you go. Oh, whoops! I got the wrong.
I'm learning how to do it.
You're all right.
We still haven't sat down and got all that down.
Okay, there we go. I don't think you're going to be able to read it. It's either going to be blurry or too small.
Can you hold your control key and scroll?
But what it's asking is, I've got to connect to it now, and it says I got to choose the time zone, or no, what does it say? Region or time zone or something? Set the region using MESHTASTIC Android, iOS, web, or other device. So now I forget who mentioned about the Chromium. So
Well, I think it's done at this point. You'll need to go through the MESHTASTIC app that's on your
Okay.
phone from now.
So the way we connect to this one, we'll do the Bluetooth on my phone, right? We'll do that. And to do that, you've got to download the, let's see, let's add this to stage. You got to download the, that's not the one I want. Can I just close this?
Yeah, you can close that.
Let's go back. So back at that page we were at earlier with the downloads. Here's the flasher we just did. You're going to choose which device you're using it on. So I've already used the other one with the client mestastic.org, and that's on the Chromium type browser, and that pops up this screen here, and you've got your choices, messages, map, config, everything right here. And you'll have basically the same type of things on the Android. And so I downloaded it and I have it installed on my Android device right here, and it says it's already connected. So that's making me think, I'm thinking it's connected to the other one now.
Yeah, so if you go to the settings tab, it's that
Okay.
cogwheel far right.
All right, settings.
Yeah, now there's that plus button in the lower right side, right hand corner.
Right here. I
Yeah.
think it's this one right here. This 2D
Oh,
BC.
have you had that? Okay.
Yeah,
Try
I think
that
it
one.
is. So this 3070, I think, is the one that's on the antenna up above. And this 2D BC is this one right here that we just installed. So what he was saying is to add one, I would click here and it would find it. There's my LED lights. I don't think I need to connect that to the MESHTASTIC. So it's this one right here, the 2D BC. And it's switched there automatically. So we select that. Is it connecting now?
It'll probably make you put the number in because it.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Flashed it.
Okay, I don't know if you could see that number, but it gave me a pin and it's already disappeared. So I missed the number, maybe because I was already connected earlier.
Yeah, it's a little confused
There
right
it is.
now because
Okay.
you've paired the device and now you've reflashed it and it still has the same kind of the
It's
same
going
MAC
so
address and
fast.
everything. So yeah.
I got to turn it around, guys. I can't do this.
I was
Okay,
pretty impressed there, Paul.
529506.
All right.
Let's see if I
Yeah,
got
Don,
it
if you're
quick enough.
familiar with the command line environment, then yeah, that Windows PowerShell and the CLI do help. The UI it's okay. It's getting there. It's getting better. So
Yeah, I'm
agree
definitely
with
gonna
you
have to
there.
check that out.
Okay, so this is resetting so quick I can't even put this in.
So what I would do then is go to your Bluetooth settings on your phone and forget the device.
Okay. Yeah, look, it just resets it every time before I can even punch it in. So we'll go into Bluetooth settings and just forget it. Not that one. It must be.
I'm not sure why it's resetting. It shouldn't be resetting that quick.
Do you think there might be something with the install? Like, look at 462991.
Yeah, see, it shouldn't reset that quick. I would try reflashing it.
Okay, why don't we flash it?
It should be the same number. By default, I believe it's the same number.
No, it keeps now it's 709039. It keeps giving me a different number.
Oh, does it?
Yeah. So we'll go to the flasher again and we'll just go back to target device, firmware, flash. Or is this one of those I guess it did connect, so I don't do that 1200 BPS. I'll do full erase, flash, and connect. Yeah, we'll let that run again. Okay. So if I'm connected here, let's go to, can you guys kind of explain some of this? I was hoping to get somebody else showing up on here, but I'm not reaching anybody. But as you can see, let me switch the screens. As you can see here on the map, so this is the client.meshtastic.org way to access it as well. And you would have to add it here with the plus sign on the left, and you add it the same way you would there. I'm connected right now with that serial connection, right? The USB-C, which is acting as a serial connection, I believe, correct? So do I need to, so maybe I need to disconnect this and connect to the other one. Maybe that's why it's messed up. It's still connected to this.
Just remember, you are a beta tester of this. So
So let's do this. So let's try this. So let's say we're going to add the other one. Okay. Now it's going to ask for the an address, an IP address if you have it, Bluetooth or serial. See, there it is. That's the one that's already connected. So let's go Bluetooth and see if we can see that 3070. Here it is right here because I'm already paired. So let's go ahead and pair it. And now it gives it to me right here in the window. I'll click it. And let's hope it connects. Now that's this one here that I'm connecting to with Bluetooth. Just lost my headset. Let's see if it'll load up. Hoping one of these works. Not sure why it says UNK.
Falls north of me too, Don.
Yeah, my two. I think, Jordan, were you just east of me, kind of in McKinney Prosper area?
I was north of you. Yeah.
You're north of me. Okay.
Yeah, I'm north of you.
Yeah.
4.5 miles as the crow flies.
I was hoping. I don't know why it's giving me this. That's not it.
So I shared a website, meshmap.net,
Meshmap.net.
that might help you find other meshers.
Okay.
Oh, is that
that's
a word
cool.
yet?
Yeah, we'll make it a word. All right, that's good, and this is good information. So this is kind of my area here. So you can see there's quite a bit, and my miner, my crypto miner using that antenna has gone up to about 120 miles.
Wow.
So I would imagine I could reach easily, this distance here to Jordan. And I'm not sure how far I could reach, but I'm sure I could reach one of these closer ones, Denton, and perhaps even Allen, once I can get it connected. But it's kind of weird that it's not connecting.
So you can use these MESHTASTIC devices on ham bands, and I
Okay.
believe it uses more power. Has anybody used them on the ham bands and
Oh, you lose encryption. Why would you do that?
to find mesher?
There are advantages. There's two advantages. You get to use 10 watts, which is, in this world, fantastic, because this is very, very low wattage these devices are using, right?
Mm-hmm.
Extremely low. But you also can't use the encryption part, which is the whole point why we're on here, right? Everybody wants encryption.
Sure.
And especially in emcomm situations, you want that private data, right? And then the other thing is you have to broadcast, of course. You have to follow the ham rules. So you have to broadcast your call sign, and you have to be public about this. Whereas if you don't use the ham option, if you don't select that option, then you can hide in anonymity if you wanted to.
So here's the pin. It's giving me a pin number. And it's not resetting. That's good. 548213. I'll put that in there. I pair, and let's see what happens here.
No, that was the
Did I get
issue. It needs to be reflashed.
And it looks like it's working.
Did I get it? Okay, there we go. And then it's going to ask me for a region, right, or something?
On the app, it will. The MESHTASTIC app.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Let me go back to the. Oh, why is it connecting to my G17?
That's like selecting the, we don't get to do that in the ham world. That's automatically done. Like, the Japanese radios already have all the programming for all the Japanese frequencies and stuff.
Yeah.
This allows you to, the app doesn't know what device you're connecting. It doesn't assume that you're connecting anything at all necessarily until you connect it. So it allows you to set the region that you're going to use it in.
Region comes later, Don says.
No,
Okay.
I believe it's right there, isn't it?
So it's already selected, right? So that should be good.
Yeah, the 2DBC. That's the
Yeah.
correct one.
I think that one's right. So here's device it's loading. What is that? Module configuration.
Yeah.
Okay, so it looks like it's loaded. Now, this name, is that what I want to name this node, or is that my username?
You can name it whatever you want.
So this is naming
Yeah.
this specific device, right? Because I was confused when it was asking for a name, and it was my username or something, and it wasn't changing the name of the.
There can be two names. You can name the device, and then there's also the concept of a short name, which is like a 4-digit character that you can put on the device as well.
Okay, just reset it before I could finish typing. So, so once we're here, it's selected. It's good to go, right? Do I just hit one of these? Oh, it's rebooting.
I'm thinking your. Oh yeah, it's rebooting. It must be sending something.
Something's not right.
Yeah.
Can I
Can't
plug
you?
the battery in and disconnect it from the computer?
Don't you set the region right there?
Because I thought this is where it sets the region.
Yeah, you can set it there, or there's another setting you can do it. But I would try plugging a battery in. I'm wondering if your cable's not a little messed up.
Let me
Can you
try.
plug it into like another for the battery?
Paul, Don's saying it reboots. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not what I'm trying to highlight.
When you change certain things.
No, he says there is a website that will configure the device before you use it.
Oh, okay. Let me plug this battery in. Man, they make these any smaller, and I'm not going to be able to do it. Jeez.
And he did say it reboots when you change certain things.
Okay.
Yeah, but that looked like he wasn't changing anything, and it was just rebooting. So that's why I was.
Yeah, it's like it wasn't taking me to the. Well, hopefully the battery's charged. I just realized this is the battery that.
That should be enough.
Let's see. Okay. Well, so it's showing it here, right? When I went to the.
You may
Or is
want
that
to
not it?
refresh. Or did it? You just kill the power on it.
So would this
There's
be
a
a time to
full-
use the reset button? Wait a minute. Oh, it's saying it again. Set the region. Set the region with. It's giving me that set
Next
the
to the
region
name,
thing
the
again.
drop down there in your app.
Yeah.
It's asking for the region there.
Oh, where?
See where it says US.
Oh, I see it.
Nest?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's where it's going to ask you.
Okay,
Yep.
so I hit
And
region.
now it reboots. Yeah.
So,
It's rebooting.
say North Korea.
Yeah.
Okay. I got that glare, sorry. And then it's up, and it looks like it's working, I think.
Yep, there it goes. It's loading the config.
Okay, so it loads the modules, and it's good to go. So I could rename it. I'm just not going to touch it for now. So, so I know that's. So this is how I share my chat. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's for
Yeah,
this
one-
chat right here, right?
Yeah, so you can set it up to share multiple channels, and then
Okay.
you find somebody you want to share to. You can either send them the URL, or they can scan that QR code with their app.
Okay, got it. And then if you do edit, you just add. You can add more text channels. That's what that's for, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then this one is the map. So that shows. This is what I was hoping I would see somebody on, but I guess I'm not going to.
Now, for me at least, I'm in west side of Cincinnati. I'm about maybe 5 or 10 miles outside of the city,
Uh-huh.
in the suburbs. I like never get anybody
Okay.
on my mesh. So I walked to kind of like where I could see across the river, and I did get one that popped up and said Bellevue Station. So Bellevue's probably about 14, 15 miles downriver from me. So I just assume because I'm in a hilly area that I never get anybody.
I'm actually seeing two now.
There you
Earlier, I
go.
could see this NXV1, but I didn't see this NVX0. So that's a new one.
Yeah.
So now, why don't I see them on the map?
Go back to the people icon.
Okay.
They may not be
So
sharing.
they're not sharing their location info.
Oh, okay.
That device may not have GPS like our TDEX.
Got it.
Ship with GPS, so
Okay.
or they may have GPS turned off as well. That's a setting you can enable, disable. So
And
Yeah,
then
you
I
can have it
noticed
turned off for channels.
this function here. to tap on the name and you could request position and you could do trace route. Is trace route just showing you how you're connecting to them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like which nodes you're connecting through,
Okay.
and how many hops, that type of thing.
Let's see if I can request position.
So essentially, what there are, those channels that you had are kind of pre-configured channels. The channels themselves, the settings of the channel can be, you can have essentially how you want the frequency to work. There's
Okay.
like long fast is I think the default one. You can change that around to slow quick or a number of settings there. That changes the bandwidth and it changes the ability of the frequency to the gain of the frequency as well. How much you can push
Okay.
through. So it's a setting that changes about 3 or 4 different variables in the configuration of the channel
Got
that
it.
you can set. And then you can also direct message. So if you find another node on the network, you can, outside of the channels, you can just direct message. Like if you found me, Paul, we could just have a communication. It's like an SMS conversation between two members, essentially, without ever going through that channel and sharing it with all the people in that channel.
Okay, and is that something where you'd have to share that QR code, or is there a way to open it up to where you can, like anyone that sees you can chat with you? How do you get it to open up?
You don't have to do anything. That message, if you went back and highlighted that message, it's because it says direct message. You can just direct message anybody you see. If you can see them, you can message them. And so
okay.
If
Got
you
it.
want to be in a group, that's where you have to have that QR code, because the QR code has the configuration of the group. And then you also, that's where you can encrypt things. So the encryption happens, you can encrypt a group so the whole group conversation and it has a key that's with it. And when you direct message people, you don't necessarily have to have that. The encryption's not a requirement, but that's where you would set it up on a group essentially. Direct messaging doesn't necessarily have that ability yet.
So this is what I played around with earlier, and I did set it to very long slow, and was trying to type to myself on the other one, and I don't think I could ever get it to go back and forth, but I did see my own. So what you're saying is when you go to, here's that long range, here's that option he was talking about. You can change your options here, and I think I had it at very long range slow is what someone else was using.
I think you have to switch which one you're connected to in order to see the message.
Oh wait, which one is that one then? Am I on? Oh, this is that other. So if I change this one, and then when I hit send, it reboots, right?
No, it shouldn't.
Oh, it doesn't?
It only reboots when you change a setting.
Oh no, see it. Yeah, it rebooted.
Oh.
And so then for you to get on this specific channel to chat, you would need this code or this website, right?
Yes.
Don's comment says everyone is in long fast.
Oh, long fast.
Yes, long fast is the configuration default on the build of MESHTASTIC essentially.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Play around
that was
with
the default chat. Yeah.
Yeah, Logan and I were playing around with that tonight. We went into long range moderate, and we were trying probably 15 miles. No luck there, but we were trying that. And again, that's a setting that changes about 4 or 5 different variables within the service configuration. So it not only does it change like the bandwidth that it uses, it changes the difference in gain you can acquire through those as well. So if and those do come in handy, changing those modes. Long fast they found was the most kind of efficient for most everything. But if you go into right now, we don't have an immersion of mesh. But if you went into like New York City, where there may be hundreds of mesh devices, you may not need that long range, and you may be able to get by with a shorter range and a shorter gain and shorter power and bandwidth completely.
And save power.
So those things, those options there, again, going back to that meshtastic.org site, I don't remember it all off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's where you can play with maybe squeezing out a little bit in software, more power, more gain, more bandwidth, than changing out an antenna or things like that. It's through the software where you can tweak that a little bit.
Okay, look. Now we see the other one right here. That's my other one. right? M2, and then down here K5VP. That's the other. So I am seeing myself, correct?
Yeah, looks like it.
Because I didn't have that earlier when I was trying to play around with it. So is that because I had two different modes? One's long, short, and one long. They have to be the same?
Yeah, they have to be the same mode.
Okay, that's probably why.
Yeah.
Now, would I see? Oh, yeah, there we are. There's two of me right there. Okay, that's cool. At least I can see myself. I don't see anybody else still, but
You're a little washed out. You might want to
Yeah, your phone's completely washed out on them now.
oh, it's too bright.
There you go.
You can see two of me there.
Yeah.
Kind of. They're overlapping. It's hard to see, but. And then I noticed here. So this little, well, now it's a question mark. This little compass. I noticed an arrow popped up. Is that telling me the direction of the person that I'm connecting to right now, or something?
Yeah, that should be the cardinal direction. So if you look, I think there's an N at the top denoting north.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that
actually, it
arrow
would be
will
like
point
this.
you the which direction.
It did show an
that-
arrow
that
for a
they are
second.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you moving the devices together may have overpowered it.
Yeah.
Desensed it.
Okay.
So
Well,
if
I
you
was
look
able
up-
to see myself. That's cool. I can chat to myself now when I
Go.
go insane.
So if you
My dad always said, "You're not crazy unless you answer yourself."
Well, now I can. I can be properly crazy.
So if you set it, put a magnetometer sensor on there, do you
Yeah.
think it would tell you which direction you're facing?
I don't know.
It could.
Is it-
What
is
it's
that
doing there is it's actually showing the distance between your connected node. Like that it should
Yeah.
be. It's not always up to date as exactly.
Yeah.
But like on my TDEX and whatnot, I can pull it up and it'll show on the screen it shows that northern facing circle, and then
Mhm.
it'll say, hey, you connected to this node however many minutes ago at this percentage. You were, signal was 83% or whatever. And it'll show me how many meters away I am from that node as well. So it's kind of like where the node you're connecting to is, essentially.
Sure, but like there's a cardinal direction on there. Would it use a magnetometer
No,
sensor?
I see what you're asking out. No. So it's taking the position of both nodes, the position of your node and the position of the other node, and it's saying like, oh man, now I'm on the big screen. It's taking your two
burning.
positions. So if I'm down here and he's
Yeah.
he's up here, it's going to show an arrow pointing this way for me.
Oh, stop that. I don't want to be on the big screen.
So it doesn't know which way north is. It just knows that one person is here, latitude and longitude. One person is here, latitude and longitude. And when you do math,
And it just points the arrow to that
it
other one.
points the arrow. Yeah, it points a radian essentially.
Because on the
Now, what
left screen, it tells you your altitude and your location based upon the GPS. So I just figured maybe if you gave it more sensors, that it might be able to use them.
You know what I'm going to do
Yeah.
is I'm going to try to, let's see, I'm going to connect the other one with serial port because the Bluetooth's not working.
There's an idea, Scott.
I know that Paul, you might have a setting turned on for provide location to mesh or provide location to node.
Yeah,
I'm imagining that's how you did it with that one, and that's why you saw the
the
location.
arrow. Yeah, I think I
Yeah, 'cause
did
there's
with
not
one
a
of them.
GPS on there.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, because I don't have the GPS yet. Yeah.
GPS from your phone.
Yeah. I remember it asking me that in the setup, and I said, yeah, just use the phone
Yeah.
or use my location or whatever the question was. I forget.
So, obviously, for part 15, we're using ultra low wattage here. But what is the range of one of these to connect to another one?
I mean, it's incredibly line of sight. Let me see. They actually have a thing on MESHTASTIC.org.
200 miles, I think, is the record. 250 something miles.
Yeah.
Is the record.
And that's up in the air, right? Mountain to
That's
mountain.
No,
like-
that was
yeah,
ground. That was
Well, somebody's on a
high to
mountain.
low, essentially.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you get-
I've talked on my HT Bedford, Texas, from inside Oklahoma, but I was about 7,000 miles or 7,000 feet up in the air in an airplane. So
Can you guys tell me how to get rid of these? Have you guys used the web browser one? I don't see a way to delete these extra ones.
What the? No, oh, I have no idea.
Uh,
I was using the web browser one, but I was just having so much trouble with it. I just found like managing it all through my Android app seemed to be easiest for me.
yeah, like I just added a second one.
But now Don's talking about PowerShell, so I guess I'm gonna go read the PowerShell documentation tonight.
Yes, Don is 100% right. These devices are extremely low wattage. You can get antennas and Yagis, and you can get 12 dBs and all this stuff, but there is nothing that helps other than height and line of sight. So
that's anything radio.
yeah,
Yeah.
this one's even more so that it's I've had friends that have tried this and they haven't gotten 200 feet. So it's like you got to go. The higher you can get, the better for sure.
Okay.
I'd imagine with all the electronic metering and everything, the noise floor is pretty high in the 900 range. So
I
Okay.
imagine, yeah. But and again, I think that's while we get to leverage those other different channel types. Long, fast, short, slow. So I mean, big city, we think long, fast might be it, but if the noise floor is too high, we might have to go to a different mode.
Okay, so yeah, I'll have to play around with this another day because this is more confusing than the app. Like I don't even see the node here. I'm not sure why I don't see the node on this one, but I see it on the other one. But yeah, you've got radio configuration and all this stuff similar to the app with the browser, but I don't know how to delete these other ones on the side either. So I'll definitely play around with that another time. But I could see myself at least on the node or on the phone app. So that's a good thing. That's a step in the right direction. And at some point, Jordan, I don't think I can reach you, Don. Like you said, I think you're a bit too far north. But maybe I can get a hold of you, Jordan. What's that?
Seems like near Gun Barrel City. He told us earlier.
Oh, is he somewhere else right now?
Yeah, Eustis near Gun Barrel City. That's where Don is.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, definitely not reaching you.
Way south. Yeah.
Oh, south.
I'm a little south of Paul.
Yeah, Michael's only, I don't know, 10 miles or less, 5 miles.
As far as the people on the screen here, 4 of us belong to the same club. So 3 of us.
Oh wow, okay.
three of us belong to the same club. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm up in the land of Cleve, so.
Got it. Okay, Don. So let's see. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of my thing here. We don't need that anymore. So with all this confusion now, for those who don't know what this is, that may watch the video another day, that they're thoroughly confused. My thought is using this for, I like the mentality of the off-grid texting, just to communicate off-grid. Repeater function, something like that for a club, for an area, for a family, I think is a great idea. And I can see this being very useful in a family or club or local EMCOM plan. Thoughts?
I see it as like, Michael, you're a big part of the GMRS here for the club, right?
Right.
And that's to be used as kind of an entryway into ham radio. I think a lot like, I think that this LoRa MESHTASTIC can kind of be grouped with that same concept, right? Because you don't have to have a license. There's no test you have to take. You buy the device online. You configure it with your web browser. You've seen it. There isn't any test you have to go do to do any of this. And so the barrier of entry is even lower than ham radio in a lot of cases. So I think that, could it be used for emergency EMCOM, emergency communications? 100%. But could it be used, for for just other things as well, absolutely. And it's great for that MCOM story, but I think that barrier of entry is really low, like GMRS, that maybe even lower, that you can get a lot of people into this for not a lot of money, and it can provide a lot of value for sure.
Well, this I've heard of MESHTASTIC and LoRa for a couple of years now, and this really piqued my curiosity. I mean, especially if you're going like on a family vacation, going out to West Texas to Big Bend, where you're not going to have cellular, and you can use GMRS, but it's also nice to have another tool in your tool bag, which you can send your kids a text saying, "Y'all come back to the campsite, dinner's about ready." There's a lot of potential.
That's how I want to use it.
Yeah, to use something like this, because I mean, we've had in the beginning of the year we had a backhoe take out 26 cell towers in Denton County.
Ooh.
26 cell towers, and that was including what's the oh my goodness, I'm blanking out. Must be tired. The first responder system.
Oh shoot!
Dispatch.
No, it's
Oh,
I cannot believe I'm blanking out. It's an AT&T product that they have, and all their computers and everything are linked through the system. That all went down, and then same area again with the backhoe, taking out more towers. Same site around Aubrey. So I mean, our infrastructure is getting more and more fragile every day. I mean, I've lost power here probably 5 or 6 times, and I have never lost power this many times. I have underground utilities in my neighborhood. Losing power. There you go, FirstNet. Good gosh, I had a vapor lock in my head there. I appreciate that, Ryan. It is FirstNet, which never fails and has multiple redundancies, so it'll never fail. But yeah, it's failed. It's failed multiple times. Then we have the nationwide outage for AT&T. So you name it, it's happened. So I'm all about alternate communications plan. And I am rambling here. I do know that, but make sure your family has GMRS capability, and make sure they have this MESHTASTIC. I think that, especially when you have somebody that's hearing impaired, I think that is an excellent thing to get into.
yeah. I think that all goes back to PACE. You got that what is it? Primary, alternate, contingent, and emergency. Always have redundancies. And this is just another tool in the tool bag. Just like cell phones, just like GMRS, just like ham. This is just another tool in the tool bag. And not to throw another wrench in things, but these Heltechs, another thing you can do with the MESHTASTICs is if you get a rotary encoder, you can remove. Oh, that's not going to work.
Yeah, put it in front of your
You can. There it is. It's just like a little turn dial, and it's got a button, and you can actually add that to like these cheap little Heltech V3s, and that removes another redundancy. So once you get it all set up with your phone, you can have canned messages you send. So that's why
cool.
I just got a big old box of these. So I'm going to be redoing these two to have canned messages, and these two are going to live in our little go bag. I'm going to have one in the wife's car, one in my car. So,
and Ryan, to kind of reply to your comment there, our emergency management and our fire marshals in Denton County, they all are required to have ham licenses. And every one of their vehicles has a 2 meter, 7 centimeter radio in it. Some of them actually have HF in them. So,
wow.
We also have like really big counties, though. There's like really big counties in Texas.
Well, okay, so Denton County is your normal 30 by 30 county, which a bunch of them are around here, 30 miles by 30 miles. So we have 900 square miles. And yes, I know that too. I know Richardson is very ham-centric as well. But we used to be a rural county. And so what was so nice about ham radio growing in a rural county is it became so integrated that ham radio plays a huge part on the county level for Denton County. I think at one time we had more cattle per capita than any other county in Texas.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure that's the case anymore because everybody's moving to Denton County. So we're losing a lot of farmland.
That whole distance thing kind of brings up something that kind of interests me. These devices are so cheap that you could set them up ahead of time and then leave nodes along a path, up like on a trail, as like breadcrumbs, and be able to have that connection even like really far out. There's a lot of things you can do with this, from like, you know, that aspect of it, or set up a sensor so that you can see if somebody goes into your RV or something, and you know, oh, I gotta get back to the RV. So there's a lot of really cool things you can do off grid with this thing.
Yeah, you're talking my language, Chris. That's one thing I did. I was doing some range tests a couple weeks ago, and I went over to my friend's house and made sure that I could hit my home node from his house, and I noticed that I could. So it's like I just like lock that away in my memory. So I've got an extra little node that, like, things happen, I can just run over there, drop one off, you know, and spread that mesh a little bit wider when we need to.
I think it'd be kind of cool to have some that you could stick on things, like on a path, like on the back of a sign, or, you know, big old magnet or something, and like stick it on something so that somebody might not know what it is and might drive right by it, and it just kind of creates that mesh network for you.
Just be careful what you stick it on. They may think you're doing
Right.
something nefarious.
Yeah.
Well, we've done fox hunts, and our foxes have a little QR code on it, and we'll just stick it on something. It's got magnets on there, and then all of a sudden, power companies are sending pictures to the police. This is not our device. What is this? You know, it's happened. It's happened.
I'm trying to get your website. I don't know why I'm spelling it wrong, Chris.
I do have
I'm spelling it right, but I'm not seeing it.
talking the YouTube channel.
Yeah, I got it now.
Okay.
Yeah,
think.
it's technology, 2Ks.
No ology. Okay. All right, I got it.
Noology. Yeah.
Well, very cool, guys. Thanks for coming on and bringing all this information. And this is definitely something I'm going to be playing with, and I think our club is going to be playing with. And with some of y'all, with your knowledge, is going to help us get that going. Maybe we can get some kind of a repeater things up for the area.
And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And everybody that's participating, except for Jordan, has a YouTube channel here. And give him a like and a subscription. Show him some love. So,
Michael, do you have any video? You've come out with one today, but
yeah, I came out with one today. Just the little checking in video. I know those don't do as well, but hopefully I'll get some more content here soon. It's this last couple of weekends I've just been tired.
Don, you never have to apologize for being chatty. And anytime you want to come on here with information, well, you're welcome.
I always enjoy being on this. I look forward to this every Sunday night.
I'm even getting stickers made. You'll get a free sticker if you come on.
There you go.
No, you're always giving great information. So you can be as chatty as you want. Chris, you got anything coming up?
Not particularly. I'm just trying to get through, trying to understand DaVinci Resolve so that I can get some of these videos out.
Yeah, that's fun though. It's a good one.
It is.
A lot of people use it.
It's a lot. But just trying to get some of these videos out. I've got a couple videos I'm working on, and hopefully I should have them out soon. I just really busy.
Resolve's a great resource. I started using it, and there's a little bit of learning there, so I don't use it, but it's definitely more robust than what I'm using. You just got to kind of learn some of the features on it. So
yeah.
All right, and Andrew, you got anything coming up? I know you're just building it too.
Yeah, I'm just I'm trying to get some more recordings and trying to get some like actual empirical data for my HOA buster, because I've seen a lot of people talk about they want to hear about that. The issue is that I've got a brand new radio and a brand new antenna, so I'm like learning both at the same time. So, but yeah, no, I got that. I'm doing some more MESHTASTIC stuff. A lot of soldering projects. So,
All right, Don, what's your YouTube channel? Let's get Don's. I
think
got
it's just Don in 5SKT, I think.
it. I got it. Here you go, Don. Not that
Gotta
I'm
go watch the tour of his new property. I'm jealous.
Right?
not that I'm the big YouTuber that's going to get all the traffic there, but it's about getting everybody's channels out there and watch all these fun things.
We need to have Don on on this podcast.
You bet. And so check it out, guys. Look into get other YouTubers' channels, find out all the information you can. I've got a couple links. There's 3 of the 4 are affiliate links, but you certainly don't have to use those links. Find the ones that are best deals for you and for the products you want. Thank you, Jordan. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Andrew and Michael, for coming on. Always welcome. If you guys see a topic in the Discord that you want to join in on the Sunday Night Ragchew, hit me up on the Discord. It's in the description. And I'll send you the link, and you can join this the Ragchew Sunday Night Ragchew any Sunday. All are welcome. And if no one wants to show up, I'll do something myself. It's not a big deal. But anything else, guys, before we close?
Speaking of Discord, you should create a MESHTASTIC tab so we can start.
Oh, good idea.
Ooh.
Very good idea. We'll do that. The Discord link should work. It's one of the longer. Doesn't expire for a while. Discord's in the description. Once this posts, you'll see it in the description. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thanks everyone in the chat for joining. If you're watching this video later, comment with any suggestions, ideas, things you've used it with, or anything to do with LoRa, MESHTASTIC, any of the devices you've used. Leave that information in the comments, and that helps out other hams that may watch the channel. So say goodbye, everyone. 73 from me. Thanks for joining us, guys, and have a good night. 73. See you next week on the Sunday Night Ragchew.
73.
73.